So we need 8 hugs a day.
And then if you want to get real into it, to like have full grounding, 12 hugs a day.
So where are you getting all these hugs? Anyone?
Oh, I just smother my children.
Just people on the street. You're like, can I have a hug? Welcome to Artist Date. I'm your host, Nicole Romanoff, and today I'm joined by Jocelyn de Moissac, a wedding and lifestyle photographer, ceramicist, and mom of 3 with 15 years of experience behind the lens. In this episode, Jocelyn shares her journey into photography, the lessons she's learned running her business, and why connection is at the heart of her work. Plus, we'll hear about her creative passions, balancing family life, and a hilarious story about falling into a badger hole during a shoot. Let's jump in. Thank you for being here, Joss.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited. You have been doing this for so long now, 15 years.
I'm rolling on 15 years, yeah.
It's amazing. And we go way back.
We do. Dancer days.
Okay,
I can't remember. I was trying to think of this on the drive down. Was it you or Jack that we did
your advanced jazz? That was my sister, Jacqueline.
It was Jack,
yeah.
right.
Yeah, good for you guys for doing that. I didn't do my advanced jazz. I completed all my taps. And then I did up until I only had 2 more exams to finish and I didn't do it. And that's like a regret of mine, not finishing it.
Yeah.
Because I like finishing things. And now I feel like it's maybe too late.
And there's no going back now.
No, like advanced jazz, my God, I would vomit. I don't even know if I would be able to.
I tried doing pirouettes over the Christmas break.
Yes.
Pre-wine, by the way.
Yeah.
And it was not a good scene.
Oh my God. I would have loved to have seen this. Is it on Instagram? Can we find this somewhere? Damn it.
No, that was just in the comfort of our own home.
Wow.
My daughter and I.
Did you spill?
Well, I almost did a triple, but like I didn't stick it.
Okay,
like it
here
was,
I thought you were like maybe doing like a suit new turn or something. But a triple, that means you're
like it's still sort of there, but you know, like the core is kind of gone. You have those babies and it just sort of
even if you don't have those babies, it's something you got to work on every day.
It's getting older. It's like you know, you stand up too soon. It's a little dizziness.
Right. Yes, that does happen. Mm-hmm. Well, since we got that out of the way, maybe you could just share a little bit about who is Jocelyn?
Oh, that's a loaded cannon, really. Well, I'm a wedding and lifestyle photographer. Like, how far back are we going? Because like I have so many like chapters. Let's just say.
Well, give us the essence of who
the
you
now,
are.
Joss, is I'm a photographer. Mm-hmm. I'm a ceramicist as of recently. I'm a mom of 3, and I'm like a doer, constantly on the go. Mm-hmm. Possibly should slow down, perhaps, but you're
feeling it.
Oh, it's the constant fight or flight, nervous system situation. But over the years, I've trained myself to learn to listen to those signs and actually act on them. So I have downtime as much as I have the uptime. So it's good.
That's all part of the maturity of just, I think, getting older and then also maturing in your business too.
Totally.
Is like listening to those signs and being like, okay, something doesn't feel right. I need to step back and just take a moment and chill.
Yeah.
Something even for myself that I've been really leaning into lately is like paying attention. I always heard like people would be like, okay, listen to what's taking your energy. And I'm like, what the hell does that mean? But I feel like now I get it. Like I've heard it enough or it's been floating around me enough that I'm like, oh my God, I actually get that now. Like when you do a job and you just feel even during it, it's just like, man, it's even hard for me to like talk. Like we're just not connecting. And so just listening to those things, it's like, okay, this is telling me something that either this isn't the right fit for me, either right now or ever. Mm-hmm. And then, for example, even just podcasting, like this year is just all about connection for me, as you know, like with the workshops. And I would say that is new for me because for the first 10 years of being a photographer or a professional photographer, I would say that I was pretty much in my little silo. Mm-hmm. I didn't branch out much. I didn't reach out much. And I missed out a lot. I missed out a lot in terms of like not only connecting, but learning from my peers. So now in this last year, I've felt that pull and I'm really listening to it and I'm leaning into it hard.
That's awesome.
And I'm loving these conversations and the workshops and just like getting together with others like me, because I'm learning so much from people like you that have been doing it for so long. So once again, thank you so much for being here. And I'm excited to talk about your journey. So tell me, Joss, I know you were a dancer, and then, so you're a very creative person. And then you were also a hairstylist for a while.
I did hair for 10 years. And then how I actually got into photography was, I've always been interested into the creative world of things, but when my husband and I were doing our family and starting the family, my doc put me on mat leave like 4 months sooner than I thought. So I was bored out of my tree. So, and then when I sold my cute little hot rod car to get the mom wagon, the guy paid me in cash. So I kind of took it as a sign like, okay, go buy some gear, right? So I did. I just went and rolled into Don's and bought a whole bunch of stuff that I don't even own anymore because I didn't know what I was buying. But I just got started, and this was like YouTube days. So here's huge pregnant Joss sitting in the back of McNally Robinson, flipping through books after books after book after book. So that's kind of how it just sort of fell into my lap, so to speak.
Was it something that you were always interested in, like growing up and in high school?
Well, I don't have like the story of like my grandpa passed on his camera. Like that wasn't a thing. But I've just always, like I've always been into the visual arts. And I think just with dance and piano, like I have my grade 8 in piano as well. And so it's just kind of like that world has always been kind of around me. I have no photographer relatives or anything, but it just, I don't know, it always sparked my interest. So then I just kind of jumped on it in the moment, and I just kept shooting and shooting. And then it was kind of similar to my pottery recently. Like, you do it because you love it. And then people are like, well, I want to buy that, but you don't think you're good enough.
Oh, I have that story too.
Right? So then you just finally give in.
It's again, leaning into or listening to those signs, like listening to people being like, you should be doing this. And it's like, what? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I should. And then you jump both feet in, and it's like, this feels right.
And how fortunate we are to do, like I constantly have pinch me moments, like even like mid wedding, and I'm standing here and I'm just like, it blows my mind because I'm watching these two people like have so much love, and like all their best people are around them, and I get to witness that.
Yeah.
Like I get to be part of so many incredible, cool moments. I'll probably start crying. We don't need to do that today.
Yeah. No, we'll keep it light today. But I totally get that. And there's been times too, like the great thing about what we do is if you do have those moments where you can stand back and take it in and really appreciate like being a fly on the wall and being able to kind of capture those moments and those people like either having like the most important moment of their life, or, family members, parents seeing their daughter, having her dream day. Or even, it could even be, I've worked events or conferences, and there's like these amazing keynote speakers, and you just learn so much for, you're getting paid to be there. And it's like, wow, I just got an entire education on something. This is awesome. And it's also reminds me of, I listened to this podcast recently. It's the Mel Robbins podcast. It's very
isn't
popular.
She awesome?
She is
love
awesome.
her.
And she's very hot right now with her new book coming out, which I'm excited to read. But it was an episode, and it had snippets from past episodes. And this one guest was talking about how to take in those moments. And her mantra is stop, breathe, be. And so
I like that.
Stopping what, like the thoughts that are going on in your head, and breathing, and then just taking in the moment. And that's been really valuable. I've been trying to do that, and it's a good way just to kind of like reset.
Yeah.
Because life, time is a very precious commodity. We only have, it's
very much
finite.
So.
And you realize that the older you get, like that, okay, I got to lean into what makes me happy and be with the people that I love, and have those, moment, just appreciating the moment, I guess is what it's all about. But
Definitely
yes.
finding your tribe. I found that was a huge part of my 30s because, yes, I recently turned 40. That's been...
Oh, happy birthday.
Well, I mean, that was a year ago. I'm going to turn 41 shortly.
Nice. Well, 41 and
I don't know. I found the whole
difference.
last year was just like full of profound moments and like often opportunities I would possibly pass on. I jumped on them instead of just being like, oh, I shouldn't do that. It doesn't feel right. I just went for it. And I find it's just... I don't know. The 30s were kind of like weeding out the not so good people for you and just only focusing your time on your people,
right.
Your good tribe that make you feel good.
Yeah, the 40s is definitely, or at least for me, I can only speak for myself, that when I've heard this too, and it's going to come across as very cliche, but it does feel like you become more of your own person.
Yeah, totally.
And you do let go of the, excuse my language, the shit that really doesn't matter in the end.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of good that comes with aging.
Absolutely.
Maturity, let's say. Let's say not aging, but anyhow. So you're a hairstylist and then you picked up your camera gear and then you were kind of encouraged.
I don't recommend doing that at the same time as starting a family, though.
Right. That seems like a lot to take on at once.
But thankfully, it panned out for the better.
Yeah. Well, Jocelyn has a beautiful family, 3 kids.
Aw, thank you.
A husband. How did you come to realize the style of photography that you wanted to do?
That evolved over time, and it took me a few years to kind of like anything, it takes a lot of people, a few years to kind of figure out exactly what you're wanting to do. My hugest thing, and even to date, is connection. And you just mentioned it, so it was kind of fitting for what we're talking about. My biggest thing when I go into any shoot, whether that be a wedding, family, anything, is making my people feel comfortable. And so I don't know if it's just who I am as a human, but I'll talk to you the same way I talk to my mom or that I talk to a complete stranger. Like I am who I am, and if it isn't for you, and I'm not for everyone, that's okay. But my biggest goal is to make you feel comfortable and just relaxed, and then that's going to get all of the natural emotions out of all my people. Especially for weddings, like I have engagement sessions as we'll say mandatory, even though it's not that wording, but that's what they are, because it's so important to work together before that big day so that I'm just another friend showing up on the day of, right?
Right. It is weird jumping in cold
it is,
for a
little
wedding
bit.
The day of.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, hi. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it's a hard day to make those close connections with.
Yeah. For weddings, for sure. My family sessions are a little different though. I shoot really candid and kind of off the cuff. I'm coming into usually their homes, and that's a very personal space, very intimate. And their kids are showing me their rooms and their best toys, and like I'm right in there, and often I'm being asked to stay for a sleepover at the end, which is the cutest.
That's adorable.
Oh, I love my little kiddos. But yeah, I just being comfortable. I want them to be comfortable and relaxed and just feeling their best themselves.
How do you make them comfortable? What are your techniques?
I don't really know if I have any. I just visiting, and if they can relate to me. And I think it's because of the life I'm in right now. Like we're rolling into preteen, and I've lived a lot of what they've lived. So I just I get it. And they're often trying to clean their house or get rid of I'm like, no, this is life. You live here. It's just let the dust bunnies be, and I'll roll around it. And I think it just puts them at ease knowing that I'm also a mom of 3 and I get it. Been there.
Yeah.
In it still.
Right.
Yeah.
What would you say has been the biggest challenge as a photography business owner?
Oh, probably just, I think the business side of things, honestly, being your own boss is not for the faint of heart. Managing that seasonal aspect, I guess maybe on the income side of things, like having to manage how your year transpires. And I pay people for numbers. Numbers are not my jam.
Yeah,
So
I get it.
It's, maybe that part is just that beginning first 3 to 4 or 5 years of learning the back end. Obviously, I have it all under the bag now and everything's sorted. But that I think was my biggest challenge in the beginning stages, was not actually the work that I do, but the back end of the work.
How did you learn it? Did you just learn by kind of making
Trial and error.
mistakes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you invest in mentorship or education?
Yeah,
that way?
I did a little bit of mentoring in the beginning, and I've got some pretty great friends that are, a couple, 2 steps ahead of you, and you should find friends like that. Always surround yourself with people that are, ahead of you, and then it kind of rolls off onto yourself. But a lot of it was just trial and error and kind of sorting things out as I went.
What inspires you most about shooting?
The people, just the love and the connection, the visits, the conversations, the stories. It's the people. And I think out of the whole COVID aspect of life, that was what really, it was a huge perspective for me, because I missed my people a lot. And just the connection, right? Being around like-minded, awesome humans. It was hard to not have that for a while. So yeah, definitely the people.
You've already been on this journey of you're a hairstylist and now you're a photographer, but you're not just a photographer. You're also this incredible ceramicist.
Aw.
Is that the term?
Yeah,
Ceramicist?
it is actually. Thank you.
Do you have a vision for Jocelyn 4.0 in 5 years? Like where do you see yourself?
I don't know. Well, I do know. I think it's exactly what I'm doing now. I don't know. I have this conversation with my husband here and there, and I think it was because I turned 40. I'm like, am I going to become a washed up photographer? Like, is anyone going to want to hire me when I'm 57 to do their wedding? Like, I have those thoughts, right? Because I don't know. Like, I don't know.
That's a fear thing. And I get
think
that.
it is, yeah.
I get that completely, because I've thought about that too. It's like, am I going to lose like that sort of...
Like, are we going to have to pivot because we're like,
yeah, what does it mean?
Old photographers, or is that
right?
I
Is it
don't
a
know.
young person's game? Is that the question?
I guess, yeah. Like I have these thoughts. I'm not sure.
I was talking about this recently with somebody, and they were saying that as long as you're creating what's true to you and meaningful and honest to you, you're always going to have an audience.
Oh, for
There's
sure.
going to be people that will connect with it. Because let's face it, we're all getting older. Everybody, like the day you're born, you're getting older. So it's happening. And so we can't be afraid of it. It's just like we have to just continue this sort of honest evolution of who we are. There are a lot of unknowns, but that's also exciting.
It is.
So yeah, maybe we're not doing photography, but we could be doing other amazing, great things.
Absolutely. No, I'll continue. Like I do mentoring and I teach as well. So I'll continue doing that as well as I mean, maybe in 20 years, will I be working with as many client-based projects? I don't know. I don't know what the future holds, but
Yeah.
it is exciting. Yeah, I'm loving the combination of my two worlds right now, and that they're complementary, which I think is why it's working well. And clay is more of like a winter thing. Obviously, my high season with photography is like April to December, so that's always going to be my first and foremost baby. Like that is, that's my life. I couldn't imagine never not having a camera in my hand, like on whatever capacity that ends up being. But yeah, I don't know. I have lots of ideas for the future. My husband and I are currently building a new home. Long process and many years in the making, and which includes a new studio space. So I have lots of ideas and fun things in store, hopefully. But yeah, I'm just going to kind of just no expectations, just let things happen.
How many shoots do you do in a year?
I cap that.
Smart.
I don't take any more than 15 weddings a year. Again, my process is I'm very focused on my quality, not quantity. And so I like to give my full attention to every single couple and often don't take more than one wedding per weekend, so that it's also like so much to do a wedding. It's like a 3-day hangover without the booze. Like it really kicks my arse.
Yeah, it's not the fun kind.
Yeah,
Or
like
is there a fun kind? Fun kind of hangover? No.
So yeah, I limit my weddings. I also limit my family sessions. I don't actually have a number. Probably like, if I were to guess, like 70 or 60 families a year, give or take.
A lot.
It is, yeah, and that's the other thing too with the structure of being a seasonal worker. In the previous years, I added in-home sessions because then I could kind of have more spread out over the winter time as well. The in-home sessions are some of my favorites too, because it's just, they're so beautiful, and just, it's the little moments of having, and often smaller children that often drive us crazy during the day, but eventually you're going to miss those moments. So whether that's baking cookies together or playing on the floor, making a puzzle, those kinds of, that's what I'm coming to document. Or bedtime. Bedtime's often, parents never really ask for it. I always offer it. And it's because I love that. And I don't get to help my kids brush their teeth anymore. They're like on their own, right? So I will offer it, and they're like, why do you want to photograph me putting my kids to bed? And then I return their photos. They're like, in tears, and they're like, oh, this is just so perfect, because it's those moments that are the daily grind. And like, I mean, if any moms are listening, bedtime, moms, parents in general, bedtime is like a full Olympic sport.
Yes.
So it's a lot. So, but eventually it just kind of dissipates and sort of goes away in a way. So I like to document those moments. So in-home sessions are often all of those like little daily tasks that are just cute and beautiful and timeless.
What keeps you motivated when you find your job really hectic and busy and overwhelming? Like, what keeps you?
My sanity. Gym. I go to the gym, not every day, but at least 5 or 6 times a week. That is it's a happy place for me. Music is very important in my life. Eating good, whole food, important. Drinking lots of water.
Taking care of your body.
It's just, like I've learned over the years that I have to put myself first to be a better mom, but also just a better person for everyone that I work with. And so if I'm not taking care of me, then everything goes to shit.
Do you take a lot of time off? Or try to? Do you kind of book that in your calendar?
I define time off.
Right. Like, I guess time where you're not shooting.
Not shooting. Yes, I do structure it in a way so that I'm balancing, and balance is a tricky word too, but there's no such thing. But somewhat balancing how much I'm shooting to how much I'm editing, that kind of thing. And I do have I've got middays, I've got content days. I try and structure. My type A self comes out with my work, which is maybe why I'm still doing it 15 years later. But yeah, it's important to have that balance and structure and downtime as well as the high time. And I've learned over the years to take care of myself first and foremost.
And how do you set boundaries? Do you have anything in place that kind of creates sort of, I don't know, a zone where you don't feel like you're always working?
I do my best. My husband will get mad. He'll be like, you're a hypocrite. But I try not to answer anything after 7 p.m. The problem I find with Instagram and DMs is once you read it, then it falls into the black hole, and then you don't respond. So I try and just leave them left unread, and then I will get to them, during the day. Like once I get home from the gym, that's when I tackle all the emails and the messages and all the things, and kind of structure it that way while the kids are at school. But yeah, it is really hard to set boundaries when we do have this social media. Everyone can get a hold of everyone at any time. It's hard to just turn that off. I'm trying to get better at that each and every day. But yeah, emails wait till the morning. I try and dial everything off. I set those alarms on the phone for focus time, sleep time. I put it in airplane mode at 10 p.m. It's just, I try, but it's tricky to
I know.
continue with that.
I find that hard too. If I get an email at 9, it's like, oh, because we all have phones and our email is all on our phones. So like you're going to see it. And so of course you click in because you're curious, or at least I'm curious. Sure. And then I'm like, well, do I, it'll take a second to respond now. And it's already encroaching in my, downtime. Mm-hmm. It's really hard to kind of turn that off.
Well, I do have those automated for DM, and I mean, Facebook is its own thing, but I'd say you want to get a hold of me, email me. So then with my emails, you can keep them as unread, and I just answer them in my 1.5 hour of email time.
That's good. Is there a way to almost receive emails at a certain time?
I don't know, but that would be nice.
Oh, it would be nice just to like pull them when you can.
There has to be.
Can somebody please invent that?
Can someone tell us how to do that?
Yes, please message us. I would really like to know, because that's a challenge I find, is not being on all the time. Mm-hmm. It's like you're on call all the time as a business owner. And
yep.
So that's a real challenge.
Yep.
Just going to take a second and think here.
Mondays.
Right? My brain is already gone.
Okay, I'll ask you a question then.
Let's have it.
Okay, what's the craziest thing that's ever happened to you on a shoot?
The craziest thing. Well, the one, like, as soon as you asked that, the thing that came to mind was there was a shoot where someone had reached out to me, and right away I just got like really weird vibes, like really weird energy. And then the day of the shoot, I was just like, something doesn't sit right. And I was like, SJ, can you come with me? I have this like weird feeling about this.
Never lies.
Yeah, and it's true. And so we showed up, and it was just, weird energy. I would have felt very unsafe being there.
Had she not been with you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I couldn't wait to get out of there once the shoot was done. I think there was a lot of mental illness that was going on. And so I have a lot of sympathy for that. But, you're putting yourself in this like vulnerable position, like going to someone's house, trying to like make a bad situation good because they're, paying you. But at the same time, you're just like, oh my God, get me out of here, get me out of here. And so even after the shoot, like it took me several hours to kind of like release that sort of like negative energy. Like I almost felt like sick after, I would say. And it wasn't even necessarily that like something traumatic had happened to me. It was just, I think I just really pick up on these energies, and it's like, your like spidey senses go off, and you just get this sense of feeling unsafe. And I wouldn't have wanted, even like SJ was with me, and he's like, that was fucking weird. And
so that
true.
just happened.
Yeah, exactly. And just couldn't wait to get out of there. How about yourself?
Well, I've actually had a lot of crazy things happen. A few I can't share publicly. But I'll tell you one that this is so many moons ago. Like, I think I was in my 3rd year of shooting weddings. Okay, so this is why you have to wear shorts under your dress when you're working. So I'm in the middle of a field. I'm at a rural wedding, like way out that way. And we're in the middle of the field, and I thought I'd try to be cute and wear a dress that wedding. And it's the middle of summer, so it's kind of hot. And so it was like a shorter dress, but not like ridiculous. Anyways, so I'm shooting and I'm backing up, and I fall in a fucking badger hole.
Oh
and
my
like
God.
this whole, like my whole leg was swallowed all the way to the ground. And the entire wedding party saw my vagine, and I was just like, oh shit, here we go. Like I just like bailed back and fell in this hole. And I was like mortified, but also I was like, this badger's gonna eat my leg off. Like,
Oh, that's
so I'm
terrifying.
Like, so these
and
guys,
mortifying at the same time.
Groups that came running and pulled me out of this. Oh, fuck! It was just.
Yeah. Well, let's be honest. I'm a hot mess on most set days. Like, I'm knocking things over. Like, I look like a mess. Like, I'll put a lot of time.
We're not in the photos sometimes.
Yes. Well, even when I do put effort in, and then I'm in behind the scenes, I'm like, what the hell? Like, how did I not know?
How did no one tell me that my mascara is down to here?
But if you're hauling gear and like running up and down stairs, and the last thing you're thinking about is yourself, it's always about other, like what's going on, and you're answering questions, and it's tough. Like, you need a team to just follow you around,
just to pick up your shit. That you
drop. Oh man, it's a whole deal. What is there advice that you would give to a photographer that is just starting out?
Oh man. Find a mentor. I offer that, shameless plug. Just
there
kidding.
You go. We'll link it below.
No, find people that you can learn from and stay true to yourself. That's all I could really say, is just don't follow the masses, follow the trends just because you feel like you need to. Shoot for yourself and what makes you feel good, and then your tribe will follow you, and your people will come to you because they want what you offer.
And what's the biggest lesson that you feel like you've learned as a photographer?
I don't know. That's too deep for today, Nikki.
We'll have to save that for part 2. Thank you so much for being here. How can people find you?
Well, Instagram, Demo Studio. No, I changed it. I rebranded 2 years ago, and it's still tripping me up.
Demo Studios.
Thank you. Demo Studios. Demo. I think I had to stick photos still in there because we're going to X this part, right?
We can.
I'm just fumbling.
Is SJ looking it up right now?
It's Demo Photo Studios. Yeah, because Demo
Studios.
Studios was taken, so I had to stay with. Right. Anyway, so Demo Photo Studios on Instagram. Clay Ceramics, you can find me there for if you're into the pottery.
Before I let you go, you did something really cool too. You created your own magazine.
I did. Yes, I published. That was another thing from turning 40 that typically I would have been like, don't do it. You just don't dive into this. And I opted to just do it. It was one of those things that were on, I guess, so to speak, the bucket list, that if I didn't do it now, it was never going to happen. So I published a magazine and I launched it last June. I should have done a launch party like people told me to, and I just never happened because I got busy with work really in life. And yeah, it was a very humbling experience, very vulnerable. I put a lot into that book, and I've got issue 2 half written. Whether or not it comes to life, I'm not sure.
What is inside? What can we expect to see?
Well, the first issue was kind of all about Joss, like kind of a few of little snippets of each chapter of kind of where I'm at right now. But I also included like my great grandma's chocolate cake recipe, which is like my go-to. I get asked for it all the time, and it's the easiest thing to make. So is it low fat? No. But is it delicious? Yes.
Low fat.
So I kind of have a little bit of everything in that one. My original goal when I thought about this was that I wanted to do 5 issues, but have 0 expectations with them. So they just would kind of come as they're meant to. Whether or not I get to that number 5, I'm not sure, because it is a very, it's a big thing to do, and it's a lot of work, way more than I thought. And it's very expensive also. I learned a lot about the publishing world and the back end of that. It was, it's quite interesting. But yeah, it's got a little bit of everything in that first issue. I'm very proud of it.
Are they all hard copy, or is it digital?
It's tangible.
Okay.
I'm trying so hard to cling on to the tangible items in this world. I will probably do a digital version as well down the road. I haven't gone there yet, but yeah, they are hard copy, hold in your hands, flip the pages.
So it has recipes and your story and your photos.
And a little bit about my 40th birthday trip from last year to Tofino. My husband surprised me with that. It was really nice. Yeah.
Well, I know if there's one thing I know about you, it's that you love Tofino.
I love that darn ocean and that space. I don't know if you've never been to Tofino, you must go. It is magical.
It is beautiful. And it's important to be in nature to fill that cup, right?
Yes. And back to my sanity, that's huge for me. Yeah. And another reason why we're moving out of town. I need some trees.
Yes. Be in nature whenever you can. Thank you so much for being here. I loved our conversation.
Having me.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Artist Date. If you enjoyed it, please take a moment to subscribe and leave a rating. It really helps more creatives like you discover the show. Don't forget to follow along on Instagram at Artist Date Podcast for behind-the-scenes updates, inspiring content, and more. New episodes drop every Tuesday. Can't wait to connect with you again soon.